Welcome to Jesse's Game Review Tips and Strategy, and today I'm going to be doing a commentary on a gameplay of Seven Kingdoms 2 that I played earlier. I'm making this video because there was a request to show some gameplay from Seven Kingdoms 2. And so in this particular video, one of the strategies I want to take is to just try to expand my population as fast as possible and try to get my economics up. And then I'm going to build a bunch of special units, the Persian special units, as my main army to fight off everyone else. And so what I'm doing now is I'm sending out the spies to purple, green, and yellow. And generally, I do this because I want to buy out some of their units. Sometimes their loyalty in some of these forts can go down very low, and I can get units with 100 combats at the price of just 500 gold, and it's really worth doing earlier in the game, even mid games. And by having more combat or more units that have higher combats, this will definitely help me out earlier in the game, so no one would declare war on me, and hopefully that will work out for me. And for right now, I'm just setting up my base. I'm setting up my markets, and this is generally the build path I like to work off. And I'm not sure what other people would actually do, but this is the setup I like to do. I like to, instead of hitting up the mines right next to my base and declaring war on purple, I like to expand out and just conquer the other Persian village next to my mine location, and it works out pretty well. And so with that, I'm just gonna let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna build a fort down there because this is once I conquer the Roman village to the right side here, I'm gonna actually expand down there. And I like to build a fort up ahead of time because I want to try to get my economy up as fast as possible. And in order to do that, I need higher populations. And so what I'm gonna do is, once a certain village hits like 40 population, not population, but resistance, I hit it with my army, and then it'll drop down to around 30 to 29, and then the village will instantly become mine. And that way I can move all these villagers to my main marketplace, so I can make as much gold as I can early in the game. And it's pretty much a key role and something you have to do if you want to try to make as much gold as you can, especially in this particular map where you only start off with like 4,000 to 5,000 gold, and you don't have like a large stockpile of gold. It's really important to build a strong economy early games. And one thing you noticed I didn't really explain too is these units that I have here that's attacking Rama village. I made them all not spies anymore, and I think it has something to do with the way that the game calculates spy combat unit versus your own combat units. If they are spy, they don't count towards your combat units. So this makes it so your combat shows up as very low in terms of when you are compared against other kingdoms, and they are more likely to declare war on you. And so in order to try to avoid this, I make the spies that I'm not currently using, or I'm not going to use. I make them just into regular units, and that way the cost associated to actually maintain the spy actually is removed, which is the great thing. Also, it basically increases my overall combat, so kingdoms will not or will be less likely to attack me. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just, since I got all these Roman villagers now, I'm gonna add them to my main base. And these guys here with the Mongol soldiers, they're gonna come back and fill up my fort in my main base, and I'm gonna have my king move down to the bottom right. Kandar, that's where the next Persian town's located. And so again, the whole goal is to try to build as much population, gather as much population to centralized location where your mines are at, so you can get a high economy fast. So you can start giving, you can start building a strong army afterwards. And so again, I have my research here set up to build the special units for the Persians. And once I get that up, I'm gonna go and research the range units, or the range research to do more range damage, so I can actually do more damage with my range units. And hopefully no one declares war on me during that time. And that's pretty much the strategy that I'm gonna take in this game, and we'll see how that plays out. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually go back into some of these villages, but again, really good to tax them whenever you can. Just make sure that if your villages are, they're not max loyalty, and if they are, then you make sure to remember to tax them so you can get extra gold, especially early in the game. Again, see, check out my spy here. This I can buy out this 144 combat unit for only the price of 500. Usually when you go to the end and you buy someone with combats over 100 or something, it will cost like 1,000 plus, or like 1,700 or 1,500 gold, and you can just buy them off your enemies for the price of 500. It's a two-part bonus to this. You actually weaken their overall score in combat, and you increase yours overall score in combat. And actually, that's the third part. The third part is that you only do it for 500 gold, which is amazing. Sometimes if you do get lucky too, you can actually buy off some of the heroes from the enemy's fort, and that's always a plus. Imagine buying a hero for 500 gold. It's definitely a bargain. And generally, I tend to play with the pause button, so I usually press the spacebar to pause in time, especially when a lot of things are going on at the same time, and it helps me manage my what I'm trying to do more effectively. And it's something as my own preference. I mean, if ideally it would be best if you can just play without doing the pause, and maybe even change the game to be to a lower speed. Or if you're really good with the hotkeys, I never really have mastered all the hotkeys for Seven Kingdoms 2, but then I don't find that it's really necessary. But definitely, I would say it does play, it does help you play a little bit more effective and efficient. So okay, once you capture all the Romans, I like this fort down here because I only need one fort to capture one of the Persian villages, as well as the Romans. And here I'm sending my king and this extra Persian units up here because the Persian village down there was already at around below 50 resistance. So I'm gonna send one of my workers eventually over there to build a Tower of Science. That way I can capture that village without further investment. Yeah, I got my research up for the academy, so I'm gonna build this academy and start pumping out some of these Persian special units, and they're gonna be my main army. So I'm gonna try to conquer all the remaining Persian villages, which is why I'm sending my king to the north to try to conquer the remaining 2 Persian villages. Yeah, this is always fun to do. Occasionally, you can just assassinate some of the. You can buy out some. You can assassinate the generals, and you can also buy out some of these units. Like I just bought out this Egyptian. This Egyptian unit for what, 500 gold, 100 combat. That's not bad. That's definitely a bargain. And it's just, I suppose that's another approach, or another way you can actually play the game, where you actually just actually play out the spy strategy The problem with the spy strategy, when I just play all espionage and just play this and do the best I can, is the fact that the espionage costs a lot of gold, especially when you have little gold to start off with, and it makes your early game more difficult, especially since you have lower combat, and then most of the kingdoms will declare war on you, especially green. Green tend to always declare war on me when I have low combat, and so I usually prefer not to play that particular strategy, but it's definitely very viable and doable, and I have done it before, and it's definitely possible. But for this particular video, again, my approach is just going to build a strong army and just try to conquer everyone, and so we'll see how that goes. One of the things you might notice too is that I did not build a seat of power, and generally on this map it's not really required, and I guess the bonus does help, but I find that early game it costs way too much gold and gold to create and gold to maintain, so I find it not worth my while to invest in that. And so in this particular game I'm not gonna build a seat of power at all. And notice that even though I have I may be the general in particular forts, I tend not to. I try to tend to keep the peace until I have my army up, and so I generally do not steal the fort unless I'm already at war with that particular kingdom. What I do like to do is once they make me make my spy general, and then they take all the units out, I just turn my general back to my color, and then everyone within that fort that's outside will actually be converted to me, and my opponents won't even declare war on me. So that's generally my approach in trying to get some more units from the enemies to my side without going to war. And you notice brown hair declare war on me. It's because I would say my army is not strong enough. Generally, I build these these clay mines here to the left side of the map, and I have no problem if browns don't declare war on me because I have a big army. But because I'm a little late in this game, brown declare war on me, and yeah, they destroyed that mine I have, and I don't have my army up yet, so I'm gonna try to defend this out and try to pump out a few more academy as well, just so I can actually get an army to fight off brown. I have 4 academies up now, so this should be really well. I should be in a good place to pump out enough army to defend myself, and we'll see how this plays out. Generally, I would just buy out a bunch of units too, but my gold here is only at 2,000 right now, so I actually want to save up my gold to make some more units in the academy instead. So I'm gonna save the gold because it's actually, I think, more affordable to do that, since I don't have a massive gold stockpile at this time. Yeah, one thing I like to do too is actually just controlling the units to target a single unit at a time. This way I actually attack and take out the enemies faster. Yeah, that's one thing I like to do too. I like pressing the space, and I mean, if you really want to go and lose no units, you actually can micro some of these units back and forth, and actually have them move to the fort and be able to fight off an army without losing the unit. But I find that sometimes that just takes way too much work. I have enough units to just take these guys out. I'm just gonna fight them. Yeah, I should be able to beat Brown because of the fact that I did complete some of my research for range damage, and these research definitely helps you out. I'm not sure. I forgot if I actually did my Berserker research for the Persian units, but I believe the Persians actually don't require any of the Berserker damage since I think they do them the every eighth damage or something. Already does like their special bonus damage. But I could be wrong, and maybe depending on the patch, I can be wrong on that. But generally, I think with the Persians, you don't need the Berserker research. Instead, I think it'd be more beneficial just to learn the special units for the Persians to get to be able to build academy, and it just go straight to research the range damage, because they are some of the fastest units in the game. And if you wanted to, because I have a mixed army right now with a variety of units, but if you wanted to just build out a bunch of these Persian special units, you can actually kite most of the enemies and run and shoot, and be able to fight off a lot of the armies without losing any units, especially if you're going against all melee units. Definitely viable. And you notice once in a while if one of my units is about to die, I'll try to X them out. What this does is just that the unit is gonna die anyway, so you might as well click on the X button just to make it so the enemies don't receive any gold for killing your units. It's a pretty good strategy, and pretty OP if you're fast enough to actually go and cross out every single unit and make it so your enemies receive no bonus for fighting off your army. Yeah, I took out most of Brown's unit now. Who, they deserve to just go. But I mean, they attacked my mine, and I lost like 900 gold for that. But I didn't go. I didn't remove my mine when it was being attacked to try to save some money, because of the fact that I was trying to buy some time earlier because my some of my academies weren't up yet, and I didn't have enough army to fight them. But it looks like I took out most of the Brown's army now. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the stuff on the top left, and maybe even try to get this Norman town next to my village here, because I want to try to get the get that mine so I can start producing some clay and to add to my market here. And this is something you could do earlier in the game, honestly. But I think I spent most of my go just trying to expand as fast as possible to bring in more population to get more to get more resources or more villagers to buy out the resources from my market. But it might actually be more beneficial just to get the clay mine while simultaneously bringing half of these population in. But oh well, this is what I've done in this particular round of playthrough. So, and it works out either way. I think this is still viable. I'm making pretty good profit now. I'm at what 3,500 with the bonus plus 397. This is perfect. Again, see, I just love going through some of these units, and I can just buy them out for 500, and then I can just send these units back to my forts. I can turn back red, get rid of the spy, so they count as my combat, and bring them as part of my army. Again, this will definitely increase my overall army score, and because you higher score, less people will try to mess with you. And it would have been better if I did it earlier. Because if I had done this earlier, I don't think Brown would have declared war on me. and I would have been able to take both of these clay mines to the top left. And the reason why I mean, I think if I only block one of the mines and I didn't block both of the mines, I think Brown wouldn't have declared war on me because they'll be able to expand to the mine on the top left or the left side of the map. But the reason why I don't like that is because they usually build a bunch of, I don't know, the computer always build a bunch of buildings and I don't want them like pretty much near my kingdom. It makes everything too messy and ruins my space, and I don't like that. So I usually try to block it off so they don't build right next to me. Maybe that's just one of my pet peeves in some kingdoms, but yeah, I definitely do not like it when computer builds next to me. It just doesn't work too well, especially when they're a lot faster and a lot of things are going on and they can just buy spies and bring them in your forts or bring them in your villages, and I'm not going to be able to detect that. They do it so fast. There's so many things going on sometimes, and it makes it very difficult to actually be able to detect some of these spies. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just take out Brown. Brown deserve it, man. They declare war on me, and so I'm gonna do a little payback. One thing I like to do too is if you don't have a strong generals too when you're attacking your opponents, I like to bring in if not a strong general, just someone with a higher leadership skills, just so I can try to conquer the villages from the opponents. Because one thing you want, I mean, one thing you know what you do not want to do is destroy a bunch of villagers, because if you slaughter a bunch of villagers, then your reputation goes down drastically, and that's bad because it costs a lot of money to maintain your villages, because your villages loyalty will drop down drastically because you have a bad reputation, and in order to maintain them you'll have to like pay the money, so it's all bad and bad. So the best approach is, if you're fighting the opponent, is just destroy everything, destroy the forts if you can. I like to destroy the forts and then build my own fort with my general, and that way I can actually and also you want to get rid of the mines and the factories, that way you actually can conquer the village instead of fighting them off. And now I messed up because I don't know why one of my units just attacked the village. This is why I just don't like I'm not sure if this is like a particular bug where you have your army fight the opponents and somehow they just end up hitting the village even though you never clicked on the village. And I'm gonna try to send my units back here just so hopefully the villages will go back. But if they end up not going back, I might just have to fight them. Sometimes they go back, sometimes they don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're gonna go back or not, but we'll see. I'm gonna move my army back, and I really don't want to lose a bunch of reputation just over some of these villagers, but I might have to end up, because they're following me pretty far. I might end up having to settle the score with them. Yeah, but you can see it only took a few moments, and my army is pretty big now. I've lost only a few units. I keep pumping. You can just keep pumping more special units from the Persian Academy, and you're pretty much set for the game here. I'm in a really good space. I think I'm almost done with my research with combat, and so once I have that fully set, I'll be able to defeat all of my opponents very easily. Honestly. Okay, I brought my units this far out because I thought that maybe the brown villagers will stop following me, but it looks like they're still attacking me. So I'm just gonna fight them off and take out brown. This wasn't. I should have just done that from the start, I suppose, instead of wasting time. But I just figured that maybe I'll be able to do it without losing all his reputation. Now my rep is gonna fall down, but I guess the price is the price I'll have to pay to destroy brown. So. Yeah, one thing I like about this particular mine is I can just build a factory right here, and it connects straight to my main market, so I don't have to build another market. So that's really great that those two mines are pretty close to each other. Yeah, it's also really great to get some of the, I think, Roman generals, even I think it was just the Roman generals, or maybe even the Greek generals, or the Greek heroes or Roman heroes. They have like great shields that reflect any kind of range damage, and they do extremely high amounts of damage back to forts. If you see that blue aura, it basically shoots the arrow back at the fort when they get attacked by the fort's arrows, which is, I think, very powerful in terms of like trying to capture the opponent, or even trying to destroy the opponent's fort, especially when some of their units are still at lower combats and don't have that much health. They can really do damage to your whole army and destroy your army. But once you get enough of these guys, man, it's not a problem. Especially these, since I think I do have my research set up ready for defense, and so I'm taking a lot less damage. Yeah, I'm gonna make one of these guys go in here, and I'm gonna just, instead of destroying this whole village, because that's one of the things I hate about these computers. Like once you destroy the fort, and they still have factory markets, everything hooked up to that village, that village will they'll just keep building nonstop. If you keep take your eye away from them for just a second, they're just gonna keep building back up, and sometimes it gets annoying if you don't have a big enough army, because they build faster than you destroy the buildings that they're trying to build out. And so I'm not sure what it is too. Like for my particular like gold stock, right? If you don't have enough gold, you can't build a building. But for some reason, these computers, even if they have no gold, they can still build these buildings nonstop. So that's something I see and have seen before. See, this is what I do. Always good to just buy units throughout the game. Extra units just for very, very cheap price. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and simultaneously attack Brown and other locations as well, so I can try to wipe them out if I can. See, look, this is what I mean. They rebuilt the fort already, and I'm able to take it down pretty quickly because I have a big army here. But if I only left a few units here, they probably, would. By the time I get done attacking that building, they probably built like 2 or 3 other buildings already. So I might end up actually just taking their mine here as well, since once I conquer this village. Oh, look at that. Perfect. I have a mine that spawned right next to these 2 villages that I conquer. Or at least one of the other villages is pretty close to being conquered. So I'll have these 2 villages up very soon. Yeah, this video or this commentary might not be too edited as well. It's pretty late at night right now, and I wanted to get this video completed just to have something out for some Kingdom fans, since this was one of my favorite games back then when I was growing up. Really like the Seven Kingdoms too. I also like that Seven Kingdoms 1, and I think even Seven Kingdoms Adversaries. Those were pretty fun as well. I don't think I played the full version on, I think, the Adversaries, but I played the demo back then when it was free. I played one of the maps. That was pretty fun. Yeah, one of the features. Oh yeah, I forgot. Definitely forgot to attack this. I destroyed all the buildings, but I forgot to attack the village. And look at that. That's perfect. I didn't even have to destroy villagers. I just attacked them once. The reputation went down below 30, and then they pretty much just surrendered to me. This is why it's great to have generals or even like units with higher. Well, I don't think you even need higher leadership. You just have to have a unit, build for it, be a general, and then have the resistance of, just like conquering any type of villages. The resistance has to be below 30, and they generally will surrender. I'm not sure if that will work if the enemies still have mines or factories or research towers connected to the villages. But generally, if they have nothing connected it and it goes down below 30, that particular village will surrender to you.
Ja, vale. Sube.
So, I have a pretty big army now. I can pretty much destroy anyone, and I'm kind of pissed off at Green because it says here they actually stole one of my academies. So they sent a spy, and
Vale,
they pretty much stole one of my buildings,
vale.
and is that acceptable? I think that's not acceptable at all. I have my army here ready, and you know what? I'm just gonna declare war on Green.
Vale.
They stole my building, unacceptable.
Vale.
Yeah, this is actually a great opportunity to kind of wipe them out too. The fact that half their army is actually split up on the
Vale.
they're coming back now, but I'm gonna try to attack some of these buildings, fight some of these units off, and that way I don't have to fight off the whole
Jobber.
army.
Jobber.
I only have to fight off a
Jobber.
few. See, this
Jobber.
is what I don't get. So once in a while, my units will just attack the villages, even though I never made them attack their villages.
Vale. Vale.
All right,
Vale.
take that.
Vale.
Yeah, they're no match for me. These
Jobber.
elephants. When I first time played this map and the elephants came, man, they were like the strongest units ever. But
Ja.
once you get your research up for range and defensive damage, these elephants are they're not a huge threat anymore. Especially when I have like this many units.
Aha.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna wipe them all out.
Vale. Vale.
Yeah,
Koppa.
see, throughout the game, I just keep pumping them out. I'm gonna pump them out over here too.
Sube. Vale. Koppa. Koppa. Vale.
You
Vale.
know,
Koppa.
Persians, Persian special units, man. I think they're one of my favorite special units. Yeah, I'm gonna try to focus this king of theirs. Their king is just too OP, man. Like the king basically shoots every single one of my units per arrow, so I gotta take this guy out first. Just way too much DPS being done.
Vale. Vale.
I'll
Koppa.
make this army
Vale.
attack these guys over here. I don't want them to attack my main base. Just the fact that I don't want to send my units later and not be able to destroy them. So just to help out, I'm just gonna buy more units just to make it so I don't have to attend to this battle. I can just have them set there and let them do their things. I should win this battle, no problem, without even having to manage this fight here. So I do that pretty often sometimes, just to have them fight by themselves because it's just too hard to control every single battle between every single fight, especially when you play different maps and you might have different or even custom games where you're having battles in different areas of the map. And it's really hard to micro this unit so you don't lose any units. But
Aha.
it looks like I'm in good hands. It looks like I'm in a good hands to actually defeating Green. So once I take out Green, Green has just way too much building. I think what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna actually build out the. I'm gonna try to just kill their king and then just make one of my spy their one of their units so they can turn one of my spy into the new king, just so they can surrender to me. And generally, I do this with spy going inside the fort and assassinating their king, and then they make my spy their king, and then they all surrender to me. But I mean, in this particular game, I'm just building out a bunch of units. So as soon as I'm about to kill their king, I just press the space bar to freeze the game. And then from there, I can turn one of my highest combat, highest leadership spy into one of their units. And so like, here's their king right here. He's pretty low. He has like 40 life. I think my Roman general might be my best bet, but let's see what else I have. Oh man, this general would have been perfect for them to surrender to me, but this guy's too low now. I think this general's gonna die. I won't be able to use him. I'll try him. Maybe I'll try him later, but I think it'll be too late. He's too low life. So yeah, I'll just turn this guy green. Hopefully they'll make this guy their new king once their king dies. So we'll see.
Nunc Domine.
Yeah, it didn't happen. So maybe I'll try again later. Yeah, because it will suck going to having, sometimes I just get tired of destroying all these buildings. It just takes so much time. Sometimes it's best if you just go for all the forts and then get them to make one of your spy their king. And then they surrender everything and you can get rid of the buildings afterwards by selling them. Might be a better approach, in my opinion. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's their new king. Let's try this again. I'll make my spy. I'm gonna make this Roman guy turn him green. Hopefully they make this guy the new king. No, they made a new king somewhere else. All right. I think this might be the last guy. They're gonna surrender to me. They have no choice. Wait, what? Did they have some other units? Oh, they have more units somewhere. Oh, this guy here. Here's the king here. I think this might be the last guy. I think after this guy, they have no choice but to surrender to me afterwards. Let's see if I can get him before anything else happens. Okay, this guy, just going to make sure my spy is still green. Yeah. Let's see. This is the final moment. And there it is. There it is. They made my spy their king, and their whole kingdom surrendered to me. I love it. That way, I'm not gonna touch none of this. I think I have pretty good ghost stock. I have 33,000. I'm just gonna buy out yellow. As usually something I do at the end of the game. If you want to have a higher score, you can just destroy all the enemies and keep your gold stock. That way you can get a higher overall score. But sometimes I don't really care about the score. I just want to see how effective I can play and win a particular map. Because if you want to just score, if it's all about the score, then you just build an economy game and pretty much build a super strong army, never fight anyone, and then just build a strong economy. And at the end, you can just buy them out, or you can just send the spy at the end because you have so much money now. And then you can have them all fight each other and do nothing and sit back. And they won't even declare war on you because at that point, you'll have the strongest army, the strongest economy, the most population. Okay, so I bought a yellow, but I guess I didn't hit up brown everywhere yet. I thought brown was gone already. I totally got sidetracked because of the fact that green stole my academy early on, and I just stopped fighting brown. But it looks like it shouldn't be much of a fight. Brown has only, I think, 3 forts left. Yeah, this shouldn't be a problem. I'm just gonna send my army and just take them out. This should be the last of it. So. So I think this might be it.
Quit.
Yeah, this might be it here. Well, this is pretty much a playthrough of this particular map, and the strategy again was just to build the army out, the Persian special units, and I think that's it. Just thank you for watching, and hopefully this video was useful to you, and hopefully you learned something and picked something up. And if there's something I missed or something that I can learn from you as well, just leave that down in the comments. I'm always open to feedbacks, comments, or you see any issues or any other suggestions or anything. So I think I'll leave it at that, and thank you for watching, and I'll just see you guys next time.